Can you do me a favor real quick before I start? Just grab a pen or open your notes app and write down this name, Carolina. Just that, Carolina. Because when everything was taken from me, when they stripped away my title, my family, my identity, when they tied me to that wooden pole and the crowd was chanting for my death, that name was the only thing I had left. And I need you to remember it. I need you to remember me. Not as a princess, not as a scandal, not as a viral video, just as Carolina, a girl who met Jesus in the most impossible moment of her life. And listen, if this story touches something in your heart, if it makes you feel something, please hit subscribe. Please share this, because I promise you, someone watching this right now is going through their own fire. Maybe not literal flames like mine, but their own hell. And they need to know what I'm about to tell you. They need to know that even when you're seconds away from death, even when the whole world has turned against you, even when there's no logical way out, God can still show up. Jesus can still save you. I'm living proof of that. Okay. So let me just be real with you for a second. I'm nervous. I'm literally sitting here and my heart is racing because I'm about to tell you something that changed my entire life. Something that still gives me nightmares. Something that also gave me the most beautiful moment I've ever experienced. And I don't know if you're going to believe me. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But I'm asking you to just listen. Keep an open mind. And at the end, you can decide for yourself what you think happened. My name is Carolina. 3 years ago, I was Princess Carolina of Saudi Arabia. Daughter of a prince. Granddaughter of royalty. I lived in an actual palace. I'm talking marble everywhere, gold fixtures, rooms I'd never even been in because the palace was so huge. I had servants who would bring me breakfast in bed. Drivers who took me anywhere I wanted. Security guards following me everywhere. I had more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. I had everything, you know? Everything except freedom. Everything except truth. Everything except real love. Growing up in that world, it's weird. From the outside, everyone thinks you have it all figured out. But inside, you're suffocating. There are so many rules, so many expectations, so many things you can't say, can't do, can't even think. Especially as a woman. Especially in a conservative royal family. You're basically a doll. Pretty to look at. Useful for political marriages. But not really a person with your own thoughts and dreams and desires. I was 24 years old when everything fell apart. And it started with a book. Isn't that crazy? My whole life destroyed because I read a book. But not just any book. I found a Bible hidden in our palace library. Someone, probably one of the European diplomats who visited, must have left it there by accident. It was in English, which I could read fluently because I'd studied abroad. I'd heard about Jesus my whole life, but only as a prophet, never as the Son of God, never as someone who claimed to be divine. So I was curious. I started reading. Just the Gospel of Matthew at first. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it messed me up. In the best way, but also in the scariest way. The things Jesus said, they were so different from everything I'd been taught. He talked to women like they mattered, like they were equal. He touched lepers and outcasts. He challenged the religious leaders. He said things like, "The truth will set you free," and "Love your enemies," and "Blessed are the persecuted." And something inside me just woke up, like I'd been asleep my whole life, and suddenly someone turned on the lights. I kept reading. Every night when everyone was asleep, I'd lock my door and read by flashlight. I read all 4 Gospels, then the book of Acts, then Paul's letters. And the more I read, the more questions I had. Questions about my own faith. Questions about what I'd been taught. Questions about who God really was. And I started praying. Not the formal prayers I'd memorized, but real prayers, honest prayers. I'd whisper into the darkness, Jesus, if you're real, if you're really who you said you were, please show me. I need to know the truth. I need to know if there's more to life than this prison I'm living in. Nothing dramatic happened at first. No voice from heaven. No burning bush. Just this quiet peace that started growing in my heart. This sense that I wasn't alone. That someone was listening. That someone actually cared about me. Not because of my title or my family name, but just because I existed. But then I made the biggest mistake of my life. I told someone. Her name was Zara, my cousin. We'd grown up together, been best friends since we were kids. I trusted her completely. So one night, during a family gathering, I pulled her aside and I told her what I'd been reading, what I'd been feeling. I told her I thought maybe Jesus was more than just a prophet. Maybe he actually was the Son of God. Maybe Christianity had something we were missing. She looked at me like I'd grown two heads. Carolina, she said, and her voice was shaking. You can't say things like that. You can't even think things like that. That's apostasy. Do you understand what that means? I did. Leaving Islam is punishable by death in Saudi Arabia, but I thought she was just worried about me. I thought she'd keep my secret because she loved me. I was so stupid. I was so naive. 2 days later, I woke up to 5 men bursting into my bedroom. The Mutaween, the religious police. They were yelling at me, grabbing me, going through all my stuff. They found the Bible under my mattress. They found the journal where I'd been writing my thoughts and prayers. And they dragged me out of the palace in my pajamas while my family watched and did nothing. They threw me in a cell. This tiny, disgusting cell with no windows. Just concrete walls and a metal door and a hole in the ground for a toilet. I was there for 13 days. 13 days of interrogations. Men screaming in my face, calling me a whore, a heretic, a disgrace to Islam. Asking me the same questions over and over. Who corrupted you? Who gave you that book? What were you planning to do? Were you trying to convert others? I told them the truth, that I found the book by accident, that no one corrupted me, that I was just reading and thinking and asking questions. But they didn't believe me. Or maybe they didn't care. They just wanted a confession. They wanted me to recant, to say I'd made a mistake, to denounce Jesus and come back to Islam. And I almost did. I swear, I almost caved. The fear was overwhelming. The isolation was crushing. I was so scared. But every time I opened my mouth to lie, to say whatever they wanted to hear, something stopped me. This voice inside saying, "Don't deny me. Don't deny what you know is true." So I didn't. On the 13th day, when they asked me for the final time if I rejected Christianity and recommitted to Islam, I said no. I said I believed Jesus was the Son of God. I said I couldn't deny what my heart knew was true. The imam who was interrogating me stood up. His face was red with rage. "Then you have chosen death," he said, and he walked out. They kept me in that cell for 3 more days. No one told me what was happening. No one told me when or how I was going to die. I just sat there in the dark, waiting, praying, crying, begging Jesus to save me, begging him to do something, anything. On the 3rd day, they came for me. They made me shower. They gave me this white dress, like a death shroud. They chained my hands in front of me. And they told me they were going to execute me publicly. They were going to burn me alive in the city square. As an example. So everyone would know what happens when you leave Islam. I couldn't breathe. I literally couldn't catch my breath. Burning alive. It's one of the most painful deaths imaginable. And they were going to make it a spectacle. They were going to invite people to watch me die. They put me in the back of a truck. It was early morning. The sun was just coming up. They drove me through Riyadh to the main square. I could hear the crowd before we got there. Thousands of people, their voices rising like a wave, chanting, screaming, demanding my death. When they pulled me out of the truck, the noise hit me like a physical thing. So much hatred, so much anger, all directed at me, at a 24-year-old girl who just wanted to know the truth. In the center of the square, they'd built this wooden stake, like something out of a medieval painting. They dragged me to it and chained me so tight I couldn't move. Then they started piling wood around my feet. Dry wood, lots of it. And then I smelled gasoline. They were pouring it everywhere. On the wood, on my feet, on the bottom of my dress. The imam was there with a microphone, reading from the Quran, explaining to the crowd why I deserved this. Apostasy, corruption, betrayal of faith, betrayal of family. Every word made the crowd angrier, more frenzied. I searched the crowd for my family. I found them, my father, my brothers, my sisters, standing there watching, their faces blank, cold. They'd already erased me. I was already dead to them. The executioner stepped forward with a torch. The crowd was roaring now. This was it. This was really happening. I was about to die. I was about to burn alive in front of thousands of people, and no one was going to stop it. I closed my eyes. I started praying, whispering desperately. Jesus, please. If you're real, if you're really there, please help me. I don't want to die like this. I'm so scared. Please. I heard the executioner bend down. I heard the wood catch fire. I felt the heat. I smelled the smoke. The crowd was screaming with excitement. And then everything changed. The flames were growing, rising up around me. I should have been in agony. I should have been screaming. But I wasn't. I felt the heat, but it wasn't burning me. It was like the flames were there, but they couldn't touch me. Like there was an invisible shield between me and the fire. And then I saw him, right there in the flames, standing in front of me. A man, but not like any man I'd ever seen. He was glowing, like light was coming from inside him. His eyes were looking right into mine with so much love, so much compassion. I started crying. "Don't be afraid," he said. His voice cut through everything, through the roar of the flames, through the screaming crowd, like he was speaking directly into my soul. "Jesus," I whispered. He smiled, the most beautiful smile I've ever seen. "I'm here, Carolina. I've always been here. I heard every prayer." "Am I dying?" "No. You're living. Really living. For the first time." He reached out and touched the chains around my wrists. They just fell off, broke apart like they were made of paper. The flames were all around us, but it felt like we were in this bubble. Protected. Safe. "You're free," he said. "You've always been free, but now you understand what that means. But the people, they're going to kill me. No one can touch you unless I allow it. And your time here isn't finished. You have a story to tell, a purpose to fulfill. This isn't your end. It's your beginning." I couldn't speak. I was sobbing. He put his hand on my head, like a blessing, and I felt this warmth flood through my entire body. Peace, joy, love, everything I'd been searching for my whole life. "Walk out," he said. "Walk through the flames. Don't be afraid. I'm with you. I'll always be with you." And then he was gone. Just vanished. But I wasn't scared anymore. The flames were still there, still burning, but I knew they couldn't hurt me. I took a step forward, then another. I walked through that fire like it was nothing. When I stepped out into the square, everything went silent. completely silent. Thousands of people, dead quiet, just staring at me. I was covered in ash and soot. My dress was barely singed, but I had no burns, no injuries, nothing. The executioner dropped his torch. The imam stumbled backward. People in the crowd started screaming, some in fear, some in shock, some shouting, "Miracle! It's a miracle!" And I knew what I had to do. Jesus told me to tell my story, so I did. "I saw him!" I shouted. My voice echoed across the square. "Jesus Christ! He was there in the flames. He protected me. He's real. He's the Son of God. He saved my life." The crowd exploded. Some people rushed toward me. The religious police tried to grab me. But every time someone reached for me, they couldn't touch me. It was like that invisible shield was still there. In the chaos, I ran. I pushed through the crowd, and I ran like I'd never run before. Through the streets, through alleys. I ran until my lungs were burning and my legs gave out. I collapsed behind some dumpsters in a neighborhood I didn't recognize. I stayed hidden there until dark. Then I started moving. I had no plan, no money, no phone. I just knew I had to survive. I had to get out of Saudi Arabia. I had to tell people what happened. It took me 3 weeks to escape. 3 weeks of hiding in abandoned buildings, begging for food, sleeping in gutters. I made it to the border with Jordan. A Christian family found me, half dead from dehydration. When I told them what happened, they believed me. They risked everything to smuggle me across the border. From Jordan, I made it to Turkey. From Turkey to Greece. And eventually, to the United States. I claimed asylum. The video of my execution had already gone viral. Millions of people had seen it. The footage was clear. I walked out of those flames completely unharmed. Scientists tried to explain it. Skeptics tried to debunk it. They said maybe the wind blew the flames away. Maybe the gasoline didn't catch properly. Maybe it was just lucky timing. But I was there. I know what happened. Jesus was there. Jesus saved me. Not luck. Not science. Jesus. My family officially disowned me. They said I used trickery, that I was possessed by demons, that I'd dishonored them forever. My father put a bounty on my head. $2 million for anyone who finds me and finishes the execution. So I'm still in hiding. I move every few months. I can't show my face in public. But I can tell my story. And that's why I'm here. That's why I made this video. Because I need you to know that Jesus is real. That he hears your prayers. That he shows up in impossible situations. That even when you're in the flames, even when death is certain, even when everyone has abandoned you, you're not alone. I lost everything. My family, my country, my identity, my safety. But I gained something infinitely more valuable. I gained Jesus. I gained truth. I gained real freedom. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. People ask if I'm angry at my family, if I hate them for what they did. Honestly? Sometimes. Sometimes I have nightmares. Sometimes I wake up smelling gasoline. Sometimes I'm angry. But then I remember what Jesus showed me. Forgiveness. Love. Grace. Not because they deserve it, but because holding on to hatred only hurts me. I forgive them. I pray for them. I hope one day they'll see the truth too. Since that day, I've dedicated my life to helping others escape religious persecution. I work with underground networks. I've helped dozens of people flee countries where they face death for their beliefs. Because I know what it's like. I know the terror. I know the cost of freedom. I'm still Princess Carolina, technically. They can't take away my blood. But I'm also something more. I'm a daughter of God, a follower of Jesus Christ. And that identity means more than any earthly title ever could. If you're watching this from a country where Christianity is forbidden, please be careful. Be wise. But also know that truth exists. Freedom exists. Jesus exists, and he's worth finding. If you're watching this from a free country, don't take your freedom for granted. Use your voice. Speak up for those who can't. And if you're a Christian already, let my story encourage you. Your faith will be tested. You'll face moments when you wonder if God is really there. I'm here to tell you he is. He showed up for me in the most impossible moment. He'll show up for you too. I think about that moment often. Why did Jesus save me? Why did he intervene? I've met so many people who faced similar situations and weren't saved. Good people. Faithful people. And they died. They were martyred. Why me? I don't have a complete answer, but I think it's because the world needed to see proof. Undeniable proof that God still does miracles, that the supernatural is real, that Jesus still shows up. Let me pray with you before I finish. If you don't believe, that's okay. But if you're searching, if you're questioning, just open your heart for a moment. Jesus, thank you for saving me. Thank you for everyone watching this. Some are hurting, some are lost, some are searching for truth. Meet them where they are. Show them you're real. Show them you love them. Break through whatever is keeping them from knowing you. Fear, doubt, religion, whatever it is, break through it. Give them courage. Give them strength. Give them your peace. In your name, amen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying till the end. Please subscribe. Please share this. Someone needs to hear it. Someone is facing their own flames right now, and maybe my story will help them hold on. Jesus showed up for me. He'll show up for you too. I promise. My name is Carolina. I was sentenced to burn alive for following Jesus, but Jesus stepped into the flames with me, and everything changed. I'm still here, still telling this story, still following the one who saved me. Thank you. God bless you. And remember, whatever flames you're facing, you're not alone. He's there, right there with you. You just have to look for him.